Welcome back to the second official episode of the podcast. I am the real Red Nose.
And I am Tiara, but you guys know you can call me T.
And this is Reasons. Reasons. Reasons to Society. Reasons. Reasons.
Reasons. Thank you guys so much for all the love and support that we've got. We've got a lot of great feedback. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.
Yes. This is definitely a long-term investment. You know, we looking to invest in better cameras. We're going to get the audio better.
Yep,
you know what I'm saying? We
Definitely.
got a few guests lined up right now.
Yes, we are excited about the guests. Look forward to our future episodes with our guests.
Yeah, and we definitely open to any guests out there as well.
If anybody is really interested on coming on the show, you hit us up.
Yeah, it's Reasons2Society@gmail.com, or you can DM us on Instagram at Reasons2Society.
Yes.
So, yeah, we got artwork coming.
Yes, we got artwork coming.
Yeah, most definitely. We got business cards. Took care of the business cards,
Ready.
And we laying down an official track to, the Reasons2Society podcast. So
look out for that.
We looking forward to that. Yeah, the beat produced by Cody Skies, so everything good with that. And in the future, we looking to have a contest to see who can drop the hottest 12 bars.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that's what it is. Thank you for tuning in. It's the second episode of the podcast. But what you been up to? Everything good?
Yeah, everything's been good. There's been a lot of frustration with the recent news. Everything that's going on with
it's
George
going down
Floyd,
right now.
But other than that, just hanging in there.
Yeah, I think we're just gonna go ahead and get into it. George Floyd, the 46-year-old man that was murdered in the hands of 4 police officers, if you ask me, in Minneapolis, Minnesota, May 25th, 2020. The officer has been arrested and charged with third-degree murder, but that's not a conviction, it's just charged. Mm-hmm. And that's number one. And number two, third-degree murder?
Yeah.
They made sure to let the public know, he had underlying health issues.
Yeah, you know what I realized? They like to do that a lot. They always want to bring up health issues, but can we talk about the real issue, which is the death?
So that's what they're trying to say. He assisted. He wasn't the reason. That's why it's third degree.
I feel like you are the reason, though. If somebody, if you didn't come and bother this man, and I'm not going to say bother because supposedly, allegedly, there was a fraudulent check involved or whatever the case may be with his situation. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't result into death. Yeah. So if you go to him and you're stopping him for this issue or approaching him about the issue, his pre-existing conditions don't matter because everything's calm until you arise them.
Exactly.
You're the one escalating the pre-existing conditions. If you didn't do any of that, he would still be alive today.
Right. And I don't understand, he's the only one. I understand, that man's knee was on his neck for over 8 minutes. 8 minutes.
Sounds familiar.
This man was crying out for his mother. His mother is no longer living.
Right.
She's no longer with us. So he was basically, he knew.
Yeah, that was it. That was it for him. Yes.
This man died in the hands of law enforcement. They're supposed to be protecting and serving. You know what I'm saying? And I don't understand why he's the only officer that has been charged so far. The other 3 need to be charged as well. Did you see the other camera angle? It's another officer on his back and another officer on his legs.
Yeah, I actually did see that. Yeah. So it's you guys had him pinned all the way down. There was no way he was going to move.
All the way
down. If you guys going to say you feared that he was going to move because, it seems like every brown person has superpower strength.
Yeah.
And you guys feel like you have to have that many officers. Yeah, you have to have that many officers for one person.
Yeah.
If that's the case, then your foot shouldn't be on his neck because you have these 3 other officers that have him pinned down. He's not going nowhere.
Exactly.
So can he now breathe? And
a 4th officer has to be just as guilty, right?
Yes, all of them are guilty, equally guilty.
You allowed that, bro. Mm-hmm. On your watch, you dressed up as a police officer. You're supposed to be held to the highest accountability, and you just watch 3 of your partners,
your friends, your
friends,
homeboys,
yeah,
you watch your
you
friends, your colleagues, you watch them kill somebody, and you participated.
And you was holding people off. You heard people saying in the background, like, check his pulse. Like, he's not moving anymore. He's not responsive. And I heard that one of the officers did check his pulse, and there was no pulse. But he continued to keep his knee on that man's neck.
On his neck.
He continued to do that.
I just really don't get that, because if have you ever had somebody sit on your legs, like on some real situation? Like, have you ever had somebody sit on your legs, whether you're wrestling, somebody tackle your legs? You can't go nowhere because you need those to walk. You need those to move. Mm-hmm. Where are you going to go if somebody's on your legs and if somebody's on your back and on your neck? At that point, you have me in all the right spots. For real. I'm not going nowhere.
Exactly.
And I can't breathe.
Can't breathe, man. That man kept saying he cannot breathe. Like, that really disturbs me, man. As long as he can talk, he's okay.
That's how they look at it. Well, you can talk and say you can't breathe.
I'm using the last bit of everything in me to tell you I can't breathe, man. Like, it's just crazy. I just don't get it. And then they want to say he was intoxicated at the time. You know, even the store clerk that called 911 about the counterfeit money said he was he looked to be intoxicated, XYZ. But I don't understand how any of these things matter.
It doesn't.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, those are like, I don't get it. Like,
yeah, those are, let me take the attention away from the real situation and let me talk about some BS because it just sounds better. Yeah. And America will buy it.
I'm talking about it was on camera. I'm not talking about he say, she say.
Yeah,
I'm talking about on camera.
For the world to see.
We seen exactly what happened. You know, all the evidence is right there. And that's why America's going crazy right now. Because it's a slap in the face, right?
Yes, absolutely.
After a while, it just becomes a straight slap in the face.
We're tired of the slaps in the face, honestly.
Yeah. So how you feel about the riots and the looting and the protests? Like, they're all 3 different things, first of all.
They are.
All right, let me ask you about the protests. How do you feel about the protests?
I'm all for the protests.
Most definitely.
In fact, I'm about to start going out and partaking in the protests.
Yeah, because you can't never advise other people to do things that you wouldn't do yourself.
Exactly. So I'm about to partake in a protest. Yeah. I am a reason to society, and that's what I'll be doing.
Yeah, we definitely have to get to that. So what about the riots?
The riots, I'm not going to riot myself unless it gets to that point. But for the people that are rioting, I definitely understand your anger and frustration. And I'm all for it. Because at some point, you got to do something to be heard. But we also need to address the fake rioting, too. The rioting that is not us.
Most definitely. The fake rioting. There's been several videos that have popped up of like, some suspicious behavior of people starting riots. Suspicious. Like, it's a peaceful protest and all of a sudden something happens, something breaks out. And it has nothing to do with the peaceful protest.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
You come and you stir up the peaceful protest.
Yeah. And what about the looting?
I'm not really with the looting, but I can understand the looting too. I can understand the looting, but I wouldn't loot.
I mean, like, it's hard out here. Did you know right now over 40 million people in this nation is unemployed? The most since the Great Depression. Like, people are desperate out here. You know what depression means? You know how many layers of depression it is? Yeah. You deal with things every day on a daily basis to the point you become numb to it, man. And you get slapped in the face and then you still look the other way. Like, you know, you'll still find the good in everything. Even though it'd be 95% bad, you'll find that 5%. It is paying the bills, or he is doing this, or she is doing that. Better. Exactly. Like, they always keep you hanging on to that little small percent of hope. You know what I'm saying? But after a while, it's like something like this keep on happening time and time again. And then it begins to be not even about this specific situation. This specific situation just ignited the whole thing. You know? Like, now I'm angry. Oh, I'm angry.
Yeah,
like, the same thing happened to my brother or my cousin or my uncle. You know what I'm saying? It's
the
expression.
Frustration has now turned into rage.
Yep.
And nobody's wrong for that.
Right.
Nobody's wrong for that.
And we're loving, kind, peaceful people. Right?
And we would have been loving, kind, peaceful people
so
if
I
you
feel
would have
like,
just left us alone.
Yeah, when things like this happen, it's like, I feel like the opposition really needs to open up their ears and listen. But instead, they're arresting more protesters than they are officers. Only one officer that was involved in this murder is locked up at this moment, right? But several, I'm pretty sure hundreds of protesters are locked up across this nation.
Some of them
for
who've done
protesting against
nothing.
a murder that was caught on camera.
Yes.
Do you understand what's going on?
It's sad. It's sick. It makes you like.
When is enough enough?
It is enough.
Is this the point?
It is.
Where
This is the
enough
point.
is enough?
I feel like this is the point
It
where
makes
enough is enough.
that kind of scares me, you know,
Yeah.
because I be all in, you know. You can't advise people to do something that you're not ready to do yourself.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
every so often, like if you look at the course of history, like when change happened, really like things really happen. It's easy to look at history books, but when you're actually involved in the history yourself, that's when you're gonna find out who you really are.
Yeah. Facts.
That's who you're gonna find out who you really are.
Yeah.
And
Cause
my whole thing is like, just don't. If you don't want to be involved, just don't tell people to not get involved.
Right.
That's horrible. That's the
Right.
worst thing you can
Right.
possibly do. Like, stay silent. Martin Luther King didn't even stay silent. He
Right.
might not have been violent, but he protested. He made sure that
He
they
did
seen
something.
him. That's
He
not
did something.
silence, you know?
Yeah.
That's making noise. Yeah, so don't tell people be quiet, and that really hurts my heart. I ain't even gonna lie. Like it's like a slave mentality. You know what I mean?
It really is. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Because it's like you're still being closed-minded.
Yeah, it's like it's okay. God got us,
like
you know what I mean?
It's like it's the Band-Aid trick.
Yeah, and you know that's even deeper. That even goes deeper than we can even go right now. You know what I mean? So it's just crazy, man. Like this is about a buildup of injustice and inequality in America.
Absolutely.
That's what this is about right now, and they don't understand it. Just like when Colin Kaepernick took the knee, right?
Yes.
They didn't
yes.
understand it, but they didn't want to understand it.
Right. They just closed it out.
They just looked at him like
We
a
don't
black
care.
kid that's being ignorant towards the American flag.
Right.
That stands for inequality and white supremacy at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And we're tired of that, man.
Yeah. Like I just.
And other races are tired of that. That's the best part about this entire thing that's making me so happy, man. Like, it's going down across this world right now. Like, this happened in Minneapolis, Minnesota. You know what I mean? And right now, people are protesting in California, in Arizona, Colorado,
Yes.
New York, Tennessee,
Yes.
Kentucky, Ohio. I'm pretty sure it's way more. I'm sorry. That's just to name a few.
Come
And
together.
international. This thing is going international.
Good
Pooh.
as it should.
Berlin, like London, France, like international, Pooh. Like these people, like they see what's going on in America.
Yeah, and it actually touches them. It bothers them. They're not, they're not ignoring it.
Exactly. So it's just like, Baltimore 2015 with the Freddie Gray situation. Like I'm pretty sure we had little skirmishes so far in the city or whatever. I'm pretty sure we did, but nothing has got bad so far, as far as I know. I don't want it to get bad, but
I know what you mean.
you've seen how bad it got with Freddie Gray in 2015, like, and I don't think it got as bad as it could have got.
Right, but
So-
that was pretty bad.
Like, I think people are starting to realize their power, man. Like, if we come together, like, with this unity,
Yes,
yeah,
it'll
like,
be crazy.
exactly. We can't destroy a community that we don't own.
Yeah, we don't own this community, so technically we're not destroying our community.
Yeah, so that's one of the things that I wanted people to stop saying too, like stop burning your own community.
Yeah,
like,
because it's not yours.
it's not like 15 rows of residential houses of all black people with nice cars and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, most wealthy African Americans move out of their community into a safer,
Right, a
neighborhood.
safer community.
But that's like a
So-
whole total deeper story. Like, it can just get deeper and deeper and deeper.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So, like, it's all about inequality right now.
Yeah.
You know?
We just need to come together and realize we're all the same human race.
Like, it seemed like nothing really changed, right? Because Emmett Till was only 65 years ago.
Only 65. If you don't know about the Emmett Till story, just pause this video, check that out, then come back.
Martin Luther King was assassinated 52 years ago.
That's crazy. Like, are your parents this age, or how far from that age are your parents, and think about it that way? It's not that long ago.
Right. And what year was you born in?
1989. I'm
89.
31 years old.
So the whole Rodney King situation happened when you was just 2 years old.
It's
That was in
crazy.
1991.
Crazy.
You know?
Like, my grandmother was around. Me and her had conversations about her coming from Dominican Republic here to America during the riots time.
Trayvon Martin was like one of the most recent situations that really like hurt me personally, you know?
Yeah.
I remember I was about to go to a party, but I stayed in the house just looking at TV glued to make sure that he was pronounced guilty before,
Right,
you know,
because that was big. Like, come on, you don't even have to have a hoodie is too much to go outside.
Right.
Like,
it's a real crazy situation going on right now. I just wanted to ask you, like, what are the top 3 things that you want to see from these protests?
that's a good question. The top 3 things I want to see from this protest, I would have to say, number 1 would be like our voices to be heard. I feel like for the past 400 years or so, our voices have not been heard. They've been snatched away, and we haven't had a voice since, and no one will let us get a voice since. So I'm hoping that these riots let them know that we need a voice. I would say number 2 is that our life matter. And when we say our life matter, we don't got time to talk about your life and your son's life and all the other races' life. The whole point of saying our life matters because they care more about y'all son's lives than our son's lives. Mm-hmm. That's the whole point of that. That's it. And I guess I would say like equality and justice for all the deaths that we lost, the ones we don't know about, the ones from 400 years ago, the ones who were the first families to die from 400 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're taking it back there. Yes, we are. Yeah. So let's just say rest in peace to all the people who died wrongfully from a person that wasn't their skin color.
That's crazy. That's deep, for real. I think my 3 will be, first of all, I want the other 3 officers arrested.
Yeah.
ASAP.
Y'all gotta go.
Yeah. Y'all need to be, not just arrested, but charged and convicted. All 4 of them need to be charged and convicted. And to the full extent of the law.
Yes, because for when we do black on black crime, what do we get? Right. 60, 70, 80 years, 20 years? Right. Y'all need to get that too.
To whatever that means. Full extent of the law, to whatever that means. But hopefully they get what they deserve, which is, to me, their life should be taken. But I'm not, I'm pro-life, so it's hard for a person like me to say that. But if you maliciously take a life like that, how do you get to even speak to your family on the phone?
Because when somebody else takes a life like that, they do give them the death penalty. So why are you exempt? And
as a police officer, I feel like you're held at the highest accountability. So if you break that oath, then you should serve the highest penalty.
Yeah, absolutely. Set an example, right? Because that's what you're here for.
Yeah. And I want us to keep the same energy with this unity. You know what I'm saying? Like, the same way we can destroy is the same way we can build.
Together.
You dig? If y'all want to go ahead and do whatever y'all want to do, but once we come to a chill and a common ground, that's when we stay together and start to build. You know what I mean? It's easy to destroy. Yeah. Let's keep that same energy, man.
Keep the same energy. Let's go.
Most definitely. And once again, I'm going to just emphasize this. Convictions. Convictions. Yeah, man. Like, that's what we need.
Yeah, that's all we want. That's all we want so y'all can, feel like we matter.
Because right now, I feel like what's going on right now is just small compared to what can possibly happen if these officers do get found not guilty. Can you imagine? Like, this place would...
because that's... Yeah.
Because there's a lot of other places that really ain't set it off yet that I'm pretty sure is on an edge. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but, like Rodney King.
We don't want this to happen.
We'll take it back to Rodney King.
It should have been a press conference by now by the president. Like, we hear you. Like, we're tired of this too. Like, we need reforms within the police departments. Mm-hmm. We didn't hear none of that.
Yeah, nothing. You know what I realized? There's never a real apology. It's always an excuse to why they can never take responsibility. It's always an excuse why they had to murder you. Exactly. Oh, well, we found weed in your system. Oh, we found weed in your house. Mm-hmm. Oh,
we thought he had a gun. It was a cell phone.
Yeah, but never no apology.
Never
nobody's wrong and never no conviction.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. We're gonna go ahead and get to the sponsors right now. We really not the type of people that's looking for sponsorships, but if you're the type of people that's really not looking for people that's looking for sponsorships, then we definitely the people for you here.
We looking for you.
Most definitely. So today's sponsorship is brought to you by Anonymous. I'm not sure if a lot of you people heard about it. The Anonymous.
Yeah, I've heard about it.
The activist hacking group, you know what I mean, that exposes.
Right.
Yeah, so they said they will come out and expose the Minneapolis Police Department for the many crimes that they have committed. Like, I'm guessing that there's been a lot of corrupt things within that police department that they swept under the rug. You know what I mean?
Bring them out.
You know, another thing before I forget, it's been a lot of videos of officers putting their knees on people's necks. I've seen like 3 of them now. Like, one in France, one in other places.
What is
like,
that about?
One other officer was like, get your knee off his neck. Like, what is this, a trend now?
Yeah,
like they geeking.
I feel like they do trend things, though.
Yeah, I just thought about that, though. Like that. But, I mean, our sponsorship is to Anonymous, but to me, I'm just saying, like, don't just stop with exposing the Minneapolis Police Department. Like, expose everything, man.
All of it.
Yeah, like, use your resources and all that for everything that's, like, good for nature, for good for Earth, good for humanity. You know what I mean? It's going to
change things.
Yeah, because let us make our own decisions. People love to make decisions for us.
Like
we
tell
want
us
to hide
we'll
information because for your own safety. No, let us know so we can decide as people what we want to do.
Exactly.
You know, so we try and break free of the manipulation of the system. You know, like
Mind
it's time
control.
to reform this whole thing. You know, start from.
It's time to wake up.
You gotta start from scratch because this thing ain't working no more.
Yep.
So yeah, our sponsorship is definitely brought to you by Anonymous, but we
Shout
need you to come strong for us, Anonymous. They did get a little progress because they said that their computer system was down. The police, you know, so it looked like they didn't take credit for it, but you know, I'm just optimistic, Anonymous. So if you definitely about what you say you about, man, like let's get some information.
Yeah, give us some more. Give us some more.
Yeah.
Keep digging.
Anonymous. So we're gonna go ahead and get the
Alright, so my get deep question of the day is basically as far as the rioting and all that goes, or the protesting, should we continue doing it the MLK way? And that means the peaceful people, you know, the people that are out there, you know, not trying to break anything up. Or should we do, you know, Malcolm X way, the people that are actually rioting and shaking up? Right. Should we do that?
I mean, I think that both ways work, right? Like, you have to have both ways. You have to have 2 different mentalities. You know what I mean? Like, because you do have people out there that's peaceful, right? But if nothing ever gets heard from that peaceful protest, you can do it for a year straight, or 2 years straight, or 3 years straight. If
it's like
absolutely nothing happens,
if
absolutely nothing happens, it's sometimes you gotta pick up a brick and throw it at the window,
to get
make a little
attention.
noise, get some attention. That's when you get some attention, and that's when the media opens it up.
Right.
But unfortunately, you still get the short end of the stick.
So I just feel like, and I think the same thing, I think you need a balance. I don't think Martin Luther King and Malcolm X would have worked without each other. There's a yin and a yang, and I kind of feel like they were a yin and a yang. Like, you needed Martin Luther King when you needed Malcolm X. Like, you needed them together.
Yes.
Just like Harriet Tubman needed her crew. Like, come on. Like, we're going to give everybody their credit. Yeah. It was a yin and a yang situation with them.
Every leader has a strong following. Like, the followers might not get as much credit. Like, Martin Luther King had, like, some strong people around him that was organizing things and doing a lot of things to help keep this group, you know, together.
Everything together.
Communication and everything. Yep. It's just one face normally gets all the credit for the entire movement.
Yeah,
which is cool as long as the movement gets achieved.
Right.
Like,
I wouldn't want the credit. I
wouldn't want the credit. As long as we get established what we, you know, set to do, that's what I feel like matters the most.
Yeah. So I guess we need both. We need to continue both. So all the people who are saying like, stop rioting, stop destroying your community. For one, it's not our community. When we got let go 400 years ago, we got let go to no community. And to no money, so we don't own none of this. And you don't want us to ever own this because you don't want us to get credit.
Try and get a little temporary come up too, right? Like, you don't need to loot the Van store or the Nike store, but shit, you probably want a new pair of shoes.
Yeah, and
you
maybe
out of work. Your kids need some shoes.
And maybe you're hungry. You know what I mean? Like, people are starving out here. People are suffering. People are homeless. People are on drugs. Y'all want to talk about opioid
then they want
epidemic.
They want to say...
But crack is... We all just crackheads out here. People who got hooked on crack, that wasn't like an epidemic. That was just regular African American characteristics right there. But I just feel like we need both sides, and we got to keep going with both sides, and we need some strong leaders to come out and keep it moving, and don't try to tell us that we can't have both sides, because Martin Luther King and Malcolm X had both sides.
That's like people say something like, they ain't need that big screen TV, that flat screen TV. They ain't need to steal that out of Walmart. It's like it's a quick come up though. You can probably sell it for a couple dollars. You know what I mean? Like, people ain't out here doing good. The next person's quick to judge the next person. Like, majority of people is not doing that.
These police
really that
officers
good.
ain't in these communities seeing how people living.
Yeah, most people are living
are.
paycheck to paycheck.
Yes, like come on.
Yeah, you want to lie to your neighbor, like you and your neighbor going through the same situation. You just got too much pride to say it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. I know
like,
what you're
yeah.
saying.
So his police ain't coming into these communities and understanding. Like, they don't understand where you come from, the circumstances you come from, the disadvantages you have.
Yeah, they don't. They just make assumptions based off of the same racist book they're reading from.
Right.
And then they go from there.
So it's no real relationship.
It's not a real relationship
Police
at
and
all.
community.
It's not. They don't know us. They don't know our culture. They don't care to. They never care. That's the problem. They don't care to learn.
Not at all.
Yep.
So we really do need a Martin Luther King approach and a Malcolm X approach.
Absolutely. I think we definitely need both.
Yeah.
And we need to continue to encourage both.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Yeah.
And if you don't
start
want
peacefully, but if nothing get heard or nothing get done, then all well.
Yeah, and my thing is, if you don't want us to go looting, how about we get reparations?
Something.
So we don't gotta loot.
Some sort of suggestions.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, us, like, start talking for us.
Yeah,
like,
say
start
something.
saying how sorry you are about this and what you can do. You know what I mean?
And not the Band-Aid stuff, the real stuff.
Yeah, the real stuff, most definitely. The generational stuff.
Yeah,
that has us so down. So we're gonna go ahead and break the ice, because that was like, things get a little deep around here. So around here we like to do special shout outs, because as you can see, like, we're going through very tough times right now. The whole United States is going up. Like, people are sick and tired.
Yeah, sick and tired.
Sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yes.
So we like to step back and look at the smaller things in life that, that we appreciate. My special shout out today is to other races that's protesting with us right now.
Yeah, thanks guys. that right there is one of the things we're looking for.
That's what we need.
That's
an essential.
Yes.
You're talking about essential? It's unity. It's not a race thing. It's a racist thing.
Right.
Like, once these people come out and expose who they are, like,
Yeah.
can they get a state? That's what I mean. Like, we need to start talking. Like,
yeah, like, let us get a state, and then
let them get a state. The races are way smaller number than the masses. Like, it's way less racist white people than it is good white people. Like, 90% of white people are not racist.
Yeah, I got you.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
I guess we really don't know, but we're just gonna
we don't
say
know.
yeah.
But
let's just say yeah.
But just give them their state.
Yeah,
have your own state, because we outnumber y'all by a lot. Like, it's a lot of good people all across this world that don't care about race.
Right, it's not something that matters to them. It's
so y'all
people.
get your own little island, your own little state or something. Like, that's the type
like
things
that's
we can talk
live
about.
by
like,
yourself.
Let's
since
figure
you don't
this
like
out.
Other people,
exactly.
Basically,
live by yourself. Keep interbreeding with yourself, and leave us alone for once in your entire life.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be hard, right? But yeah, I would say my special shout out is going to go to Sheriff Christopher Swanson, I believe his name is pronounced.
Okay.
In Flint, Michigan, who actually put the badges and the masks and put everything down and actually walked with the people and made them feel like they care, Like, that's what we need.
Word?
Yes.
You did that?
Yes.
That's big.
You can find it on Facebook. I'm pretty sure if you YouTube it, you can find it too.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure a lot of you saw that.
I'm going to Google that.
But yeah, shout out to Christopher Swanson.
That's big.
Sheriff Christopher
Swanson. That's the beginning of something. And
him and his people. It wasn't just him. I just don't know the other officers' names.
Yeah. I was actually told about that. I haven't seen the video or anything, but he was like, it was awesome because, the police actually was marching with the protesters.
That's how it should be.
Yes, that's when change starts to actually happen.
Yes.
It
means we know that that we're human now.
Yep.
I mean, we've always been, but it's like, okay, so now you get it now. That's
Right.
what's up. Come walk with us.
Right.
Thank
I mean,
you.
everybody was never always racist. Like, these are the people that was never racist that's marching with us. It's not like we're rejuvenating people. The racist people, they the ones that's coming in still trying to violate the protests and start riots, turn protests into riots. Like, you feel me? Like, I'm just glad everybody's coming together instead of just letting us be in this by ourselves.
Right.
You know? Like, they could be like, oh, that's their problem. No,
Right.
it's a us problem, man. So, I guess we're going to go ahead and get deeper. I guess I want to figure out, like, why people don't talk about the Civil War more.
I know. It's just like you think history class and then that's it. You never need it
Yeah,
again.
because we wasn't really into getting taught. Like,
Yeah.
they was just teaching you and then you had to answer, like, A, B, C, D. I
Yeah.
really was never into that.
Yeah.
You know? I probably would have paid attention if they made it fun and interesting. Like, you know? Yeah. So I say all that to say, basically, like, the Civil War should be glorified by quote-unquote African Americans. You know what I mean?
When you really think about it, it should. People, do you remember what the Civil War is? Like, if you remember what the Civil War is, without Googling on your phone.
Yeah.
Because the Civil War is deep. Like, without that, where would we be?
Yeah, no doubt. And just like now, like, you need the other race to help you, to help set you free, to help
Yes.
get things accomplished. Because that was major in my eyes. You know what I mean? Like,
Big facts.
that's how you know, like, it's always a small percentage of races. And those are the ones that have all the money and the power that control
That
the
is
whole
controlling
narrative of the
everything.
situation.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
Because ain't no way that all them amount of slaves, we could all still been slaves till this day, or all been dead. Because as Kanye said, slavery was a choice, in his words. You know, we ain't gonna get into all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, we ain't gonna get into all that. Yeah. But I think it should be glorified by African Americans a little bit more, because that was the first battle that we actually took part in America, and it was for our freedom, and we got that.
And we got it. So we need to praise him more. And we just need to praise way more than we praise. Like, this little February situation we got going on, the shortest month in the year, we got to figure more out.
Yeah, but that's something that's given to us again. That's another problem.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we need to start celebrating in other ways, not waiting on this February month with the 28 days to say we black.
Exactly. Yep. I think we need to really, like, you can Gmail us, like I said, we'll have all the information at the bottom. Like, I'd love to really start groups and chats and really talk to people out there that has real like solutions to these problems, and we can really talk about it and even show us the steps to move forward.
Right,
like,
because we're always open to that.
Man, we're trying to get things done for real. Like, this is a podcast, and we always say it started at the right time.
Yeah,
because
it
we
did.
are definitely about change, you know? We are definitely about getting things done, you know?
And we are all Reasons to Society. Right?
Yeah. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get into a little pick your poison.
Pick your poison.
All right, just to lighten it up a little bit, but it is heavy because it just goes so deep. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
what's the worst of evils? Is it having money or not having money? It's a simple but deep question, you know?
Yeah.
Because on one hand, having money, you have power and you have control. You can control everything around you for the most part. As long as you got the money, you can pay people to do certain things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you don't have the money, that turns to desperation at times. You know,
Most
if
definitely.
you're starving, you ain't got no money. You
Yep.
know, your baby need to eat tonight.
Yes,
Yeah,
somebody might.
you might do something tonight.
Yeah.
You know, out of
Yeah.
desperation because you ain't got no money. So, what's the
Right.
worst of evils? Having money or not having money?
I think it's the same, to be honest with you. I don't think anyone's worse because it just depends on who doesn't have the money, who has the money. It's really the person and the thought process. Because the same person who will go out there and take a life for some money will not take life for money.
That's true.
But
That's very true. I like that. Yeah, and I couldn't agree more. I ain't even really have like a real viewpoint on this whole thing, and like what you just said, like just dialed me in. Like,
Yeah,
I agree with that. It's about the person, right? Yeah, because no matter what the situation is, it can be the same situation, and
two different people will handle it differently.
Exactly.
But I'd rather have money than no money.
Yeah, me too. Right? Because you know the good heart that you have anyway.
You know what you're gonna do.
That's the whole point of this podcast. You know what I mean? To open up doors for friends and family. You know, everybody around you. You know, open up different avenues. You know, travel this world. You know, open up time. You know, time is money itself. So
and live life, because we don't know when it's gonna be taken.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, well, now we're about to tap into what I like to call GTT time. And as you know, that's Girl Talk with your girl T. All right, so I kind of want to, like we said, our whole podcast today is actually reflecting George Floyd. R.I.P. to you again, George Floyd. And the condolences goes to you and your family.
Most definitely.
And anyone that's suffering from this, which is probably everyone brown out there. So shout out to y'all too. Stay strong. It will get better. We just can't give up. But yeah, just thinking about all of this has me thinking about my nephews. I have 3 nephews. I have a 6-year-old nephew, I have a 10-year-old nephew, and I have a 19-year-old nephew. And I'm terrified for them. I really, really am. Because we have to teach our kids different than other races. Like, we have to tell them that their skin is alarming, and that scares a person before they open their mouth, before they move their hands, before anything.
Right.
So we have to train them different. And I don't think other races understand that. Like, brown people have to train their kids different, because we don't know when they may encounter a crazy racist cop. And we know for a fact that their murder could be on camera.
Exactly.
And nothing's going to happen about it. And if something does happen, it's the bare minimum, because you don't really care for real. And that's heartbreaking.
And they make up so many excuses, like this person was not a human being. Like, you cannot catch anybody under them circumstances at any given time. Like, just because I'm at a party or whatnot, and I'm drunk and I leave, and you confront me in the front yard and you kill me, and then they take my toxicology report, and I'm
they
drunk,
say it's liquor, and then that's it for my case.
Not fair.
Your murder is valid because I was drinking, or I had weed in my system.
They'll look into your criminal past.
Or he got bad grades in school, he put up his middle finger, or he had pictures of a gun. All he had was a hoodie on and some Skittles in his hand. He could die like that.
Right.
Like, stop. This is getting ridiculous. And mothers that have your sons, like, it's scary, ain't it? Because you don't know what's going to happen. You have to teach them everything they need to know. Like, when we're driving, we have to tell our black men that turn the car off, put your hands out the window. We do different things than you guys do. We have to do very, very different things.
And you realize there's never been formal police training of when they pull you over. Like, even in driving school, they don't tell you what to do. What to do. They don't tell you what to do when police pull you over. So police automatically expect you to know, and then they make up their own rules and guidelines as they go. Because every time, depending on what officer you encounter, you're gonna have a different
situation with them. You don't know.
You have a different situation with them.
You don't know. You can't say, oh, well, according to the way officers operate.
Exactly.
My pullover is going to go like A, B, C. Exactly. No, it's not. It can go anyway.
And they're regular human beings, right? Yeah. So if they're having a bad day or whatnot, and they take that to work, and they see the same guy that they've been seeing for the last 3 or 4 days.
You're not about to tell me they're not about to feel a certain type of way and do something and abuse their privilege. You're not going to tell me that. Right. Because they're human. Yep. You know, like, I would say, also women, we are not exempt. Rest in peace, Sandra Bland. You will not be forgotten.
Yeah, rest in peace.
My beautiful, beautiful black queen. You can't even ask questions. You can't smoke a cigarette. You can accidentally not put your blinker on and die that day. Like, and then they'll say it was a suicide. Right. And then the whole world has to believe that. And then you'll have other people that are not your racist saying, well, maybe she did kill herself. No, she didn't. We know she didn't. Think about her family. Think about your family member being pulled over and then dying, and then somebody trying to make you believe that they committed suicide.
Come on. And they always got everything to live for.
Yeah, everything,
You
nothing
know,
in their
she
life
was a very
or on their
successful woman,
Facebook
on
says
her
that
way to
they
be-
want to kill themselves. But you, for some reason, a police officer who didn't know her,
Right.
you're going to feed us that story.
Because the media, you know, the media.
Yeah, the media controls the narrative. People
And just like we
always
said,
remember
the
that.
racist people are the ones that control the money, which control the power, which control the media.
Yep.
So they can persuade anything any way that they want to.
Yeah, they can make you believe. They have y'all believing that you can catch the coronavirus from somebody farting, and I know somebody out there believe that. They can
Word?
tell you
They
anything.
told-
Yeah, they starting to say you could catch the coronavirus around fart.
Well, it's getting a little ridiculous now, huh?
Fart though.
I don't get it, but they still reopening things. It's like, it's like we're really experiments to them.
Yeah, we are experiments to them.
Like, they don't know what's going on. Now you can fart and catch it. This
Yeah,
the
now you
first
can
time I
fart.
heard
No,
it.
you can
Heard
sneeze and
it.
catch it. It's getting out of control.
Yeah, that's getting
Yeah.
out of control, but they're still opening things up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's another thing people are tired of. You know, they was cooped up in a house with all this,
Yeah.
madness going on. So the first time they get out the house, of course they're gonna act all
Yeah,
wild and
especially
crazy.
with something like this.
Yeah, because a lot of people have conspiracy theories about the whole coronavirus as well, about why people was locked up in that house at night. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So people are riled up about a lot of things right now, and they always try to,
Yes.
try to blindfold us, try to catch us from the side. But people are really starting to wake up now, man.
They are, and I'm happy.
This the generation to do it.
It is. And this is just another person I thought of, Oscar Grant, Fruitvale Station.
Hmm.
That was crazy too. Like these whole, we think y'all have guns. We think y'all have this. Oh no, the famous one. I thought it was my taser. No, you didn't. You knew it was the
Yeah.
gun.
You got Ahmaud Arbery,
Yes.
the case that we talked about on the last podcast. We got Botham Jean, where the
Yeah.
officer just ran up in his apartment talking about
was
she
that?
thought it was her own.
But you don't realize you not your house when you open the door and it don't look the same. Go.
Yeah, you got Arthur Sterling, you got Mike Brown, Tamir Rice, Trayvon Martin, as you mentioned earlier. Yeah, like
Yeah.
the names go on. Walter
They go
Scott,
on
Eric
and
Gardner,
on and on.
and of course right here in Baltimore, Freddie Gray, which I
Right.
mentioned earlier.
It's just like, is it going to stop, guys? Are y'all going to stop killing us?
And this is just what we know about. That's just, and the list goes on. There's many more names. It's just a lot
it's
that
people
hasn't
we
been
don't
documented.
know. Right. Come on, you got to think about what was going on before cameras. Like Ronnie King. That was like somebody got that off a video camera. Like back in the day, the video cameras.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not mistaken. Correct
Right.
me if I'm
Yeah,
wrong.
no, you're right. If
yeah,
not
that
for
was-
that,
Yeah, they got it on the video camera. So it's like, if not for that, then what?
black and white.
Then what?
Got him. Yeah. Yep.
So shout out to
and to further extend on that, just a little bit of Rodney King thing. Like things was happening previous to that Rodney King incident that led up. Like the media will always make you believe like this one thing happened and they just went
Because
crazy.
if I'm
They
not
set the whole city on fire.
mistaken, that girl in LA, I forgot her name,
Yeah.
but she was like 16 years old, and that Asian lady shot her in the back of the head because
Yeah.
she stole an orange juice or something like that.
I think that happened.
It happened
within
right. Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
around the same time
Yeah.
frame. Like that happened first.
And they
Then
got
she didn't
fed
even
up.
get time. I think they gave her like probation
Yeah,
for the murder.
sure enough.
They went crazy
Sure
then,
enough.
and they didn't want to turn
and
around.
that's why
and
they
get
went
Ronnie
crazy
King.
because it's a smack in the face. It's like you lock her up just to
Absolutely.
keep us happy, but when you
Right.
say she's not guilty, you think we're just gonna
Yeah,
like
we just
mope
want to sit
about
down.
it?
No.
No, like these are reactions.
And another thing, we got to stop. This is what we need to do because the rioting always stops, right? It never continues. When do we stop? Freddie Gray stopped because they decided to arrest officers or whatever, or pay the family or whatever the case may be. But the rioters, we should still be rioting today for all the stuff that we didn't really get justice for.
Yeah.
How do they make us shut up? Let's see how they try to make us shut up this time, because they always find a way to make us shut up. Then we stop rioting, and then months go by or a year go by, and then somebody else black die unarmed.
Yeah. Yeah, they just want to get violent towards us. We don't even want to get violent, but they push us to violence, and then they match us with the violence,
Right,
know?
and then
Because they
look at
got
us like we
more
crazy.
artillery weapons, because that's how they operate, through
Yeah,
control,
right.
Like, because it's definitely more of us, but they got more technology and all this other things, weaponry, mass genocide. I'm pretty sure they have no problem with that,
Yeah, because then when we do peaceful protests, and just like back in MLK and Malcolm X days, What's up with the dogs y'all used to let out, the fire hose, all types of stuff? What's up with the cops spraying the mace on the peaceful protesters? Like, y'all have to stop. Y'all being petty on y'all end.
Yeah.
Y'all being real petty. But then, so all the people are like, oh, you shouldn't get rowdy, and you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. What about the peaceful protesters and the cops that are
exactly, because they're all peaceful protesters.
Because think about them. They're on the MLK side. Yeah. And they getting pepper sprayed, just like how the dogs and the water used to come out on them.
Right. Focus your energy on the right stuff, right? Instead of focusing on the bad stuff, focus on what's bad happening to the good protesters. How about that, right?
Exactly.
That makes a whole lot of sense.
What's bad happening to the good protesters?
Just focus on the good. Like, you
they're being
looking
arrested,
at a good protest.
they're getting mace sprayed on them.
You're right. Just focus on that. Don't focus on what the reactors are doing on the other side. They got other
people coming out to pretend that they're the ones banging it up. They happen to be police officers. And if they're not, I know for a fact that person's Caucasian because your skin was not brown. Right. So you are on the opposite side tearing up stuff saying it's us.
And don't tell us be silent until you know something that you can tell us. You know, like they done told you that they're about to do XYZ for us. Like we need a whole lot of land where we can build a whole lot of houses and a whole lot of businesses with a whole lot of colleges.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Give us the fair advantage. Like let's start talking about real stuff. Yeah. Like we can't just be silent, you know? Like I'm not advising looting or rioting. I am advising of peaceful protest.
So he's MLK, I'm Malcolm X. That's how we rocking with it. That's how we feel. That's how we feel. Like I'm more of the keep it up. He's more of the peaceful protest.
Yeah, more of the peace, most definitely. But as soon as they disrespect you and slap you in your face, we hopping on the Malcolm X joint.
Yeah, and that's really what it's about for real. Because you're not going to win without both sides. Because look how many look what's happening to the peaceful protesters.
Yeah, because when it's time to talk,
they're turning them unpeaceful because they're coming around to provoke you, and they're hoping that you react. So then they can continue to put us on the news.
You heard a lot of people feelings like that. I seen a young lady crying on the news about that. Like, we was out here peacefully protesting, and they came out here for what? And was really crying, you know?
Because it's heartbreaking. It's like, what are we
so how you think she feel? It's either now you're missing work and she won't peaceful protest anymore. She'll just stay in the house because she's scared. Or she going to turn to
the other side. And it's like, what do y'all want? What is...
Exactly.
I feel like that's what y'all want, though. Y'all want us to all go crazy so you can, like, kill more people. That's what I feel like. Like, I feel like if y'all can wipe us out in one whole setting, that would really make y'all happy.
That's
and then
what
y'all
really
can
hurts my heart, because, like, that makes sense. You know?
Yeah,
like,
let's get y'all together. Right, let me provoke y'all, then get all crazy, and then tell y'all, because what did Trump say? If we keep looting, he gonna start the shooting.
What?
Like, you already wanted to start the shooting. You've been started. You never stopped the shooting.
Whoa.
The shooting never stopped.
President of America said that, bro. Really put that in perspective, man.
Yeah.
And we like to have fun on this podcast, you know, but unfortunately a lot of things are going down in America right now, so we had to deliver y'all the recent news of what's going on. We had to tell y'all our perspective, you know, our views on things. So, so hopefully the next podcast we can tell y'all better things, you know, like the government has officially said that, you know, it is injustice. We will reform the police, you know, something. We need something, you know. Yeah, hopefully the next time we talk is not the same thing going on.
And not no Band-Aid stuff.
No Band-Aid stuff, you know? So yeah, till the next time, baby. Reasons to Society.